Welcome to our continuing series on questions and answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Today's subject is To the Women of Japan, Part 4, from the Mother. No, the way to supermanhood lies in the unfolding of the ever-perfect spirit. All would change. All would become easy if man could once consent to be spiritualized. The higher perfection of the spiritual life will come by a spontaneous obedience of spiritualized man to the truth of his own realized being. When he has become himself, found his own real nature, but this spontaneity will not be instinctive and subconscient as in the animal, but intuitive and fully, integrally conscient. Therefore, the individuals who will most help the future of humanity in the new age will be those who will recognize a spiritual evolution as the destiny and therefore the great need of the human being, an evolution or conversion of the present type of humanity into a spiritualized humanity, even as the animal man has been largely converted into a highly mentalized humanity. They will be comparatively indifferent to particular belief and form of religion, and leave men to resort to the beliefs and forms to which they are naturally drawn. They will only hold as essential the faith in the spiritual conversion. They will specially not make the mistake of thinking that this change can be effected by machinery and outward institutions. They will know and never forget that it has to be lived out by each man inwardly, or it can never be made a reality. And among these individuals, women must be the first to realize this great change, as it is her special task to give birth in this world to the first specimens of the new race. And to be able to do this, she must, more or less, conceive what will be the practical results of this spiritual conversion. For if it cannot be effected simply by exterior transformations, it can neither be realized without bringing forth such transformations. These will certainly not be less in the moral and social domains than in the intellectual. As religious beliefs and cults will become secondary, so also the ethical restrictions or prescriptions, rules of conduct, or conventions will lose their importance. Actually, in human life, the whole moral problem is concentrated in the conflict between the vital will with its impulses and the mental power with its decrees. When the vital will is submitted to the mental power, then the life of the individual or of the society becomes moral. But it is only when both vital will and mental power are equally submissive to something higher, to the supermind, that human life is exceeded, that true spiritual life begins, the life of the Superman, for his law will come from within. It will be the divine law shining in the center of each being, and governing life from therein, the divine law, multiple in its manifestation, but one in its origin. And because of its unity, this law is the law of supreme order and harmony. Thus, the individual, no more guided by egoistical motives, laws, or customs, shall abandon all selfish aims. His rule will be perfect disinterestedness, to act in view of a personal profit, either in this world or in another beyond, will become an unthinkable impossibility. For each act will be done in complete, simple, joyful obedience to the divine law which inspires it, without any seeking for reward or results, as the supreme reward will be in the very delight of acting under such inspiration, of being identified in conscience and will with the divine principle within oneself. And in this identification, the Superman will find also his social standard, for in discovering the divine law in himself, he will recognize the same divine law in every being, and by being identified with it in himself, he will be identified with it in all, thus becoming aware of the unity of all, not only in essence and substance, but also in the most exterior planes of life and form. He will not be a mind, a life, or a body, but the informing and sustaining soul or self, silent, peaceful, eternal, that possesses them, and this soul or self he will find everywhere, sustaining and informing and possessing all lives and minds and bodies. He will be conscious of this self as the divine creator and doer of all works, one in all existences, for the many souls of the universal manifestation are only faces of the one divine. He will perceive each being to be the universal divinity, presenting to him many faces. He will merge himself in that and perceive his own mind, life, and body as only one presentation of the self. And all whom we at present conceive of as others will be to his consciousness his own self in other minds, lives, and bodies. He will be able to feel his body one with all bodies, as he will be aware constantly of the unity of all matter. He will unite himself in mind and heart with all existences. In short, he will see and feel his own person in all others, and all others in himself, realizing thus true solidarity in the perfection of unity.